At a Senate hearing to review the fiscal year budget for the U.S. Department of Justice, Senator Susan Collins questioned Attorney General Bondi on proposed funding cuts to programs that support survivors of domestic violence. The programs were established by the Violence Against Women Act. Collins, who chairs the Appropriations Committee, was an original co-sponsor of the Violence Against Women Reauthorization Act in 2022. That helped expand protections and services for DV survivors and their children. The DOJ budget request proposes to reduce funding for the Office on Violence Against Women from $713 million in 2025 to $505 million next year. The reductions include cuts to transitional housing assistance, the Sexual Assault Services Program, and the Rural Victims Program. We spoke with Francine Garland Stark, Executive Director of the Maine Coalition to End Domestic Violence. She tells WABI that a 30% cut to federal funds for domestic violence work in Maine would be devastating and felt immediately.
I know that you care deeply about this issue, as do I. So why is the department cutting funding to combat domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, stalking, and support of survivors? Was this cut imposed upon the department by the Office of Management and Budget?
This budget is a compromise. It's a leaner budget. We can always do more with more, but we can do more with less. And you have my word that we will do everything in our power to fight for victims of domestic violence throughout this country.
I'm pleased that Senator Collins was able to press this point, and also that the work to support victims of domestic violence should certainly not be on the list of things where we would cut funding when it is such a critical and priority issue.
Bondi says the proposed budget includes $505 million to prevent and respond to violence against women, including $190 million for grants to combat violence against women, and it also gives $60 million for sexual assault survivors. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic abuse, you can call the statewide helpline at 1-866-834-HELP.